Hello there, this is an A-level photography exam resource video. Hopefully this will help you if you're interested in involving portraits and landscapes in your photography. This was from this year's exam based on aspects of the landscape. It's a really good blending of both portraits and landscapes. I've tried to record this a few times, so if it goes wrong, bear with me. This page here shows the work of Don McCullen and also Ansel Adams, and then links on the next pages here to the starting point she's then taken. Here you can see where she's then gone into the landscape, she's looked for different viewpoints, different compositions that show shallow depth of field as well as those bigger apertures. Some really interesting shots and some fantastic use of space in them just to start off the exam unit. And you can see where at the bottom she's connected to the artist and where she's been influenced by them. On this next set here, she's then gone into a less sort of like rural location, and she's tried to show buildings as an aspect in the landscape, not just standalone landscapes from the countryside. Then a little link to the artist, what she's intending to do, showing her intentions. And this page really superb. Little bits of juxtaposition and collage experiment on one side, but brilliant into sort of intentions wrote on the other. On this next one here, just flicking through this book, it's just showing the aspects of a landscape within a tunnel. So looking at putting someone in there just to give an impression of size. And this one here, superb set of images, trying to photograph through this little tiny sort of like hole shape she's made, just to almost create a similar effect to having a shallow depth of field, and almost just revealing that aspect of the landscape instead of just showing the whole picture. Really great to see that she's included those just to help explain that to the examiner. In this next set here, this is my favourite one, she's used then Vaseline on a screw-on like little filter on top of the lens, and it just then allows her to just focus on little tiny aspects, not the whole overall picture. And any excuse to get Vaseline in the work, super duper. These ones here on the left, you can see little bits of artist influences looking at, I think it's Magritte there, a couple of the heads in the clouds, and then also linking that back to Taylor Swift music video, which was one of her intentions and connection images. She's then took portraits, and then inside those portrait images, her intention is to then layer the different landscapes inside. And then onto and into these next pages here, she then technically explains how she's going to do it, what she's going to do. And these little bits here underneath this little envelope-y type thing are just little wash textures. So instead of just relying on textures on the internet, she's then photographed her own textures to use in her Photoshop developed images. And they relate to this artist here just shown underneath. These are the images here in this booklet that show that development, and on these next couple of pages, just a little other artist link to someone that she's found that is relevant to her work. She then looked at actually bringing something which was a part of the landscape into the photography and started photographing a cut-up section of log which she then layered and photographed. She also then used that same approach, just showing that little tiny aspect, that little sort of like pocket of interest of focus in the shots. And then these next ones are all to do with layering. What she did do with these was she created her own landscape and projected that into a glass surface to create different texture and a totally different look to her images as compared to previously. And then she then, from there, took some really excellent shots and projected onto the bottles, as well as then creating these little joiners. Those little joiners here are what we call crop joiners or series and collage joiners, which all just layer stuff together. And this really cracking page here, just showing a final selected collage joiners. These ones are crop joiners, just revealing the best little sections. And on the next page here, that just clearly shows how she's then projected back onto the log as well. So not just using the bottle, she's projected onto the log, she's projected onto everything which she's then found and used within that landscape. And then just one big cheeky print right at the end in the book, just to show their final piece. In these next couple of images that are going to be coming up, I'm just going to be showing you like little bits of the sheets from that unit which she's had either professionally printed or mounted herself. This one shows a progression of images from start to finish, and is a really good sheet to show the examiner what she's then done just in one place. Here are a couple of standalone prints, just printed onto A4. It's great if you can get them printed professionally, but if you can't afford it, don't worry about it. Okay? These ones here are just showing the layered images between the portraits and every single one of her layered environments. And then as we're going through, again, just best shots or best developments that link back to the portraits and landscapes. Really impressive unit. It's not really, can't really do it justice just seeing it on a video here. You need to sort of see it in real life. And these ones are what I call the money sheets. Now what I mean by that is the examiner can just see in a snapshot from start to finish everything you've done. Perfect to someone who's done a lot of work to show everything in one go. This one here, it's got a little bit of information right on the bottom of the sheet there, clearly linking artist and her work together. Really important that you do that, if you can do that in your photography units, guys. It means that the examiner will get a chance to mark your work and then hopefully see all the hard work that you've put in. It's very hard for the examiner when they come in. They only get a short amount of time to go through your work, so you've got to make sure you make it dead obvious for them. And just these last couple of shots, just before I go and show you these last few pages, were professional prints she had done. Oh, they look super-duper. If you can afford it, you know, sometimes get yourself down to Lidl. How do you put the prices up? But that's just the way it goes sometimes. Get yourself down to Lidl, get yourself some big cheeky prints from there. Don't always be using Snapfish Photobox. Unless you're loaded, in that case, go and print him. And these, just to finish off the video, just a few little last shots there of the best pages and best outcomes. The ones that work the best, I think, were the ones where it shows lots of images all at once. And these two pages here, for instance, clearly showing a really excellent juxtaposition on the other side of the page, just really shows off a flare. Vaseline set, my favourite. Any excuse to use a traditional media and camera together, it always creates experimental techniques and images. Then as well with this one, it just shows the technical approach to creating images in Photoshop. I hope this video has been helpful, guys, and if you've got any questions, please email. Thank you, goodbye.